Hey yo, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for tuning in as always. I had to go and turn the radio down because it was playing deuces and I was like, do you get copyright for this? Probably so. Let me just, take precautions ahead of time. Wear my Puerto Rican earrings, 2 for $10. You have to find the deals internationally, not just where you're from. Okay? Think about it. But today I'm coming to y'all with a video about sort of meditation, becoming the within yourself, and then just learning how to focus on that. And just, it's something that definitely takes time. It's not something you learn overnight, like saying mantras to yourself for an hour. If you think about it, it's hard for anyone to sort of sit down in one place. We're a people that's sort of not necessarily robotic, but I feel like us as a society is so used to having to move around and do things that it's kind of almost like a different arbitrary type of concept for us to just sort of breathe and be one with ourselves and just sort of silence our minds, silence our thoughts, and kind of just zen out for a bit. So I just came today to talk about my experience and try and give you some type of advice, and I have some sort of different tips and tricks at the end, and the different types that I encountered upon my little research. The spirituality is something that it's something that took me a while to find, and once I did find it, I sort of discovered a lot about myself that I never would have thought, I never would have imagined. And I'm learning new things every day, not just about myself, but just in the universe, about the universe, and how different aspects of ourselves are sort of written in the stars, in a sense, if you believe in that type of thing. And so I've always met people who meditated, who did that almost every morning, and they're able to really envision different career paths for themselves, or different almost future aspects. And they use it to sort of calm themselves down, to wake themselves up in the morning, and kind of really be almost like a therapy in a sense, how you would journal or whatever the case is, or go for a run. And I even met a few people even when I was working who were models or something, and they talked about it, and you just have to learn to be one with your thoughts. And it's always been hard for me to sit in silence, just because I'm a person that gets so distracted very easily, and so I've always sort of tried to sit down, and then someone will be calling my name, or I just have these random thoughts in my head, and so I would sort of just cut it short. And so what I learned to do is listen to these guided meditations on YouTube. There are tons of them. If you want to, I discovered a whole new world, guided meditations and different frequencies you can listen to them on, and there's stuff for your different chakras, or if you want to manifest wealth or success, or love, or to remove negativity in your life, or be more vocal about the things you want, how to let more love inside yourself. There are meditations for almost anything you could think of on YouTube, or just any resource in general. So that's what I discovered, and it's sort of it starts from 5 minutes, and one of the tips is don't think that you're gonna just sit down after this and be able to say everything for an hour. Don't feel discouraged any type of way if you feel your meditations weren't long enough, or you felt you weren't able to silence your thoughts as well, and you just became distracted, or you started thinking negative thoughts or any type of way, or thoughts that you thought that you suppressed. Everything is a process. It starts from 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then you just keep working your way up. The more you, of course, the more you practice anything, the better you're going to get at it. So you can start from 5 minutes, even in the morning. You just sort of take the time for yourself, whether in your room, in the kitchen, anywhere you can be, and you just close your eyes, and you just sort of just be great. Starts from even just being grateful for everything that you have, And then you just work your way up. 5 minutes turns to 10 minutes, turns to 15 minutes, turns to 20 minutes. And then now you're meditating for half an hour. And you can meditate about anything. There's no certain script to do it. You know, it's all about just honing in on your thoughts. And what I personally do myself, I try to do it in the morning and in the night. Sometimes I'm too busy in the morning, or like I'm too tired at night, and so I may only do it like once a day or like once every 2 days. You know, make sure you don't feel pressured to do it. You know, make sure that it's something that happens naturally when you feel like you have the time and you feel like you do have the attention and focus you can put on this. And so I personally, I'm just say that I'm grateful for all the universe. I'm grateful for the lessons that I've learned along the way, and I know, you know, I can't blame myself for the things that I didn't know. You know what I mean? So I just always ask to get rid of, like, you know, emotional baggage, or like any type of like self-blame that I put on myself for like the actions that I did and like how I may have hurt other people. And I just ask people to forgive myself so that, you know, other people can forgive me. You know, I ask to just always be grateful for everything that I have, to, you know, be able to attract self-love, to attract success, to attract prosperity, abundance. You know, you just take the time. It's everything that's unique to you. Whatever it is that you want to tell the universe, whatever it is that you want to ask for. It's like almost like a different language in a sense that you're just learning for the first time. And it's something that takes time. It's something that takes practice. You can practice really anywhere as long as you feel like you have the time and energy. And it's something that's very therapeutic, and it sort of almost becomes like a diary of some sense of you just being able to let out your thoughts and like your emotions, and there's no judgment, and you're just being able to like express yourself. And that's the highest ascension you can be, is to just be yourself and be what you naturally are, so that what you are can be, you know, attracted to you. And there are different types of meditations that I research that there are. You know, there's mindfulness, which is basically when you pay attention to your thoughts. Just pay attention to your thoughts, and you don't judge yourself for having these thoughts or feel like, oh, I'm a bad person because I have these thoughts. No, everyone, it's natural for you whenever you sit in silence for like things that you didn't think of for a long time to just naturally pop up, or even something that even happened recently that day. And you like beat yourself up for it, for having these thoughts. And no, it's perfectly natural. You know, you just acknowledge them. You acknowledge them, you observe them, you don't become too involved. And you just take notes of these thoughts and you address them whenever you can. And then you ask yourself, why am I having these thoughts? What does this mean? Maybe this is a like foreshadowing to an underlying problem that I have that I should try and, you know, do shadow work on. So it's different things that may come up with that. There's spiritual meditation, which is basically you reflect in like the silence around you. And that's something that I also had always had a problem doing, was just be able to sort of like sit in silence with my thoughts in a sense, and like really form a connection with the universe, because I didn't really know what to say. I didn't know exactly what was my goal. I didn't know how to speak to something that I never really acknowledged in the first place, or really thought of as like an entity that you could have a relationship with. But it's something that definitely took time. I just learned to be more comfortable with myself and within myself, to know that, you know, whatever thoughts that I do have are valid, and it's okay to speak to them. Don't beat yourself up for having certain thoughts. Just acknowledge them, and you can always ask the universe, you know, for guidance and clarity on certain situations in your life, and not feel like you have to do everything by yourself or figure out everything by yourself. Sometimes you don't have to figure out everything at all. You know, that's something that I learned, to just sort of let go of control and sort of just let the universe, you know, play everything out for me, and ask to be led down, you know, the right path for my higher ascension, and let go of things that no longer serve me or towards, you know, my divine path. And it's something that you can do with essential oils, I believe. And you can use frankincense, you can use myrrh, you can use sage, dragon's blood, which I personally prefer. It's anything that, whatever you feel guided towards. There is focus meditation, which involves concentration and using your senses. You can count beads, you can stare at a candle, which is something that I do when I was first meditating. I would like stare inside the candle and say my mantras and my, you know, my meditations and my what I focus on, my affirmations. And it's something that definitely gave me a lot of power, like having to really sit down and think about what exactly am I looking for, and learning to, you know, make firm decisions on finally like the path that I want for myself and what I know that I'm deserving of. And it can be difficult, like for beginners, especially if you're a person that has a problem holding your focus at one point, at one thing, like I do. But I feel like it's something that definitely just helps you, like, practice your mind, practice your skills with those sort of situations. And then lastly is something called, there are 9 different types of meditation, but I just wrote down the first 4. Like this, I'm not going to do a whole PowerPoint of this. And the last one that I took down was movement meditation, which is basically you walk through the woods or you walk through a park. You just walk through, I guess, nature, anything that you're being guided towards. And I feel like that's something that I do a lot. You guys have actually done that with me. Well, just walking to the park and just like sort of going to these special like little secret hideaways that I randomly find, that I sort of just let adventures take the way. And that's something that you should do with meditation, you know? Of course, like videos like this and like whatever research you do is helpful, but also just sort of take your time with it. Find the right sort of soul tribe and the right, you know, groups and resources that you can find to sort of help you focus on which style you feel may be right for you, and how much time you feel you can dedicate to this, and what exactly are your affirmations. Or sometimes you don't have to have any affirmations at all. You can just sit down in silence for 30 minutes, and, you know, then you work your way up to guided meditations if you see fit. And then you sort of, you know, mix it in with your own affirmations, and you have a sort of like, you know, schedule for you once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, depending on like what you feel comfortable with. And it just comes naturally to you. That's why I really enjoy spirituality, because it's something that doesn't have like a fixed, you know, menu or book or anything like other quote unquote religions or practices. It's just something that you sort of discover whenever you're going through like a certain point of your life, and you can sort of mold it into whatever you want to be in life. So thank you guys for listening, and I can't wait to talk to y'all next week.